Like, every point is critical. I wouldn't really say All-Star is viewed as critical. I feel like that's just a fun thing. I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like, we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together. And then we go on the road, and we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Star's coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left.
Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's rewriting the entire script. From breaking records no one thought could fall, to facing pressure that would crush most rookies, to secretly working on her mental game in ways fans never see. Clark's journey is as much about resilience as it is about talent. And now, with the WNBA making moves that could reshape the league around her, the question isn't if she'll dominate, it's how far she's willing to go to change the game forever. Before the bright lights of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was already a phenomenon. She didn't just play college basketball, she took a sledgehammer to its record books. Becoming the NCAA's all-time leading scorer wasn't a gradual climb, it was an explosion. She scored from everywhere, deep threes that seemed impossible, drives to the basket that defied angles, passes so sharp they cut through double teams. And then came the numbers no one had seen before, leading the nation in both points and assists. Usually a player does one or the other. Caitlin, she made both categories her playground. But if one game made the world stop, it was her 41-point triple-double in the NCAA tournament. It wasn't just a highlight, it was a statement. And when she dismantled South Carolina in the Elite Eight, it wasn't just an upset, it was a declaration that pressure is where she thrives. But even at her peak, Clark was thinking ahead, because she knew the next step would be even harder. Before she became a national name, Caitlin made a choice that surprised many. She could have gone to one of the powerhouse programs, UConn, Stanford, South Carolina, but instead she stayed close to home, committing to Iowa. Why? Because they believed in her before the world knew her name. Under Coach Lisa Bluder, she entered a culture built on discipline, accountability, and an unshakable belief in teamwork. And it worked. Iowa kept the same starting lineup for years, building a chemistry that allowed Clark to take risks knowing her teammates had her back. But the better she got, the tougher the defenses became. Opponents started throwing double teams at her as soon as she crossed half court. She adapted, creating one of her deadliest weapons, the step-back three. It became her signature move, and in the process, she turned defensive pressure into highlight reels. That decision to stay in Iowa didn't just shape her college career, it built the mental toughness she would need for the WNBA. When Caitlin declared for the WNBA draft, she wasn't just stepping into a new league, she was stepping into a storm of expectations. The Indiana Fever picked her, instantly making her the face of a rebuilding franchise. Fans wanted wins, the media wanted miracles, and opponents, they wanted to test her limits. Her rookie season began with a wake-up call, relentless full-court pressure from the moment she touched the ball. In her debut, she had 10 turnovers. For most rookies, that would shake their confidence. For Caitlin, it was fuel. She watched film, adjusted her reads, and learned when to push and when to pull back. From day one, she wasn't just learning the WNBA, she was learning how to survive as its most watched player. Caitlin's rookie year wasn't smooth, but it was transformative. She didn't just fix her mistakes, she used them to evolve. That early turnover problem, by mid-season she was breaking the WNBA single-season assist record. One game stood out, 20 points, 19 assists. It was the kind of performance that showed she could take over without scoring 40. She had become a master at setting up teammates while still being a scoring threat from anywhere. And that's the thing about Clark. She doesn't just adjust to the game, she makes the game adjust to her. Her court vision became a weapon. Defenders couldn't predict whether she'd pull up from 30 feet or thread a pass between two players for an easy bucket. The more she grew, the more the league realized this wasn't just a scorer, this was a chess player in sneakers. While Caitlin was making headlines, the rest of the league wasn't standing still. The Minnesota Lynx brought in DJ Carrington, giving them both youth and experience. Seattle made a bold move for Brittany Sykes, while the Mystics pulled Alicia Clark back into their roster. On paper, these trades didn't involve Caitlin, but make no mistake, they could shape her playoff path. The mix of defensive veterans and rising stars means every game is going to be a war. And for Clark, that means more pressure, tougher matchups, and a league that's evolving around her every move. Physical talent can win games, but mental strength wins careers. Caitlin works with sports psychologists to keep her confidence bulletproof. She's learned to take social media with a grain of salt, accepting the love, ignoring the hate, and staying focused on the work. Her best games? She calls them flow state moments. When everything slows down, the basket looks twice as big, and she feels untouchable. That mental clarity is no accident. It's something she trains for. Even injuries have shaped her mindset. Instead of frustration, she uses recovery time to analyze her game, finding new ways to come back sharper. In a league where pressure can crush even the most talented players, Caitlin's mental game might be her greatest advantage. Caitlin's not satisfied with what she's done, because she's already thinking about what's next. She's working on expanding her shooting range, making it even harder for defenses to guard her. She's stepping into leadership roles, mentoring younger teammates, and speaking up for the growth of women's basketball. And she's doing it all while staying unapologetically herself, refusing to change her personality for cameras or critics. That authenticity, combined with her skill, is why fans see her not just as a player, but as a movement. She's chasing wins, yes, but more than that, she's chasing a legacy, one that could inspire an entirely new generation of players to believe they can change the game, too. Congrats, Caitlin Clark is still at the beginning of her professional career, yet she's already changed women's basketball forever. She's shattered records, faced pressure most athletes never experience, and shown that talent means nothing without resilience. And with the WNBA leveling up around her, the next few seasons could define not just her career, but the direction of the sport itself. The only question is, when history looks back, will they call her one of the greatest of all time, or the player who redefined what greatness even means? Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's rewriting the entire story of what's possible in women's sports. From shattering records the experts thought would stand for decades, to facing pressure that could break even the toughest rookies, to quietly building a mental game that's as lethal as her three-point shot. Caitlin's rise has been nothing short of a revolution, and here's the thing, her journey isn't just about scoring points, it's about how she's doing it in the middle of a rapidly changing WNBA, where veteran stars are making big moves, franchises are shifting strategies, and the spotlight on women's basketball is brighter than ever. But behind the highlight reels and headlines are moments most fans never see, choices, struggles, and turning points that have shaped Caitlin Clark into not just a star but a symbol of what's coming next for the game. Even before stepping into the pros, Caitlin Clark's name was etched into basketball history. She didn't just break records, she obliterated them. Becoming the NCAA's all-time leading scorer wasn't a slow, inevitable climb, it was an assault on history. Game after game, she piled up points with a mix of deep three-pointers, fearless drives, and passes that made defenders look like they were standing still. What made her different wasn't just the scoring, it was the balance. She led the nation in both points and assists during her sophomore year. That combination is almost unheard of, because most players excel at either scoring or facilitating. Caitlin refused to choose, and then there was that game, the 41-point triple-double in the NCAA tournament, the kind of performance that's supposed to be impossible under that kind of pressure. It wasn't just a win, it was a career-defining moment that forced every basketball fan in America to pay attention. Then came South Carolina in the Elite Eight. On paper, Caitlin's team wasn't supposed to stand a chance, but she turned the court into her stage, dismantling one of the most dominant defenses in women's college basketball. That wasn't just a victory, it was the game that proved she could bend even the toughest matchups to her will. But even in her biggest moments, Caitlin knew she was playing a long game, and the next chapter would demand even more. Before she became the face of the WNBA, Caitlin had a decision to make. She had offers from the biggest, most prestigious programs in the country. She could have played alongside other future pros with guaranteed national TV exposure. But she didn't follow the expected path. She stayed close to home, choosing Iowa. To outsiders, it looked like a gamble, but Caitlin saw something different. Iowa believed in her before she was a household name. She knew that trust was worth more than a flashy recruiting pitch. Under coach Lisa Bluter, Caitlin thrived in a system built on discipline and accountability. It wasn't just about running plays, it was about building the habits and mindset of a professional. Iowa's consistent starting lineup wasn't an accident. That stability created chemistry most teams never get, and it allowed Caitlin to push her limits knowing her teammates had her back. But success came with a target. Defenses swarmed her, sometimes throwing double teams the moment she crossed half court. Some players panic in that situation. Caitlin got creative. She developed one of the most feared weapons in the college game, the step-back three, a move so quick and so deep that defenders couldn't keep up. That decision to choose Iowa over a super team didn't just define her college career, it laid the foundation for the fearless, adaptable player she would become in the pros. When Caitlin declared for the WNBA draft, it was the least surprising announcement in sports, and yet it carried a weight few athletes ever experience. Everyone knew she'd be the top pick. The Indiana Fever didn't just draft her, they handed her the keys to their franchise. From the moment she put on that Fever cap, she wasn't just a rookie, she was the face of a team, a marketing centerpiece, and a symbol of hope for a franchise desperate to climb back into contention. But reality hit fast. The WNBA isn't a welcoming committee, it's a gauntlet. In her very first game, Caitlin faced relentless full-court pressure. She turned the ball over 10 times. Critics circled, questioning if her college dominance would translate. Caitlin didn't flinch. She went straight to the film room, dissecting every mistake. She studied defenders' tendencies, learned to read traps before they closed, and started making adjustments that usually take rookies years to master. Her message was clear. You can slow her down for a game, but you can't stop her for long. The thing about Caitlin Clark is she treats the WNBA like a chessboard. Early in the season, her turnover numbers were high, but by mid-year, she wasn't just cleaning them up, she was rewriting the rookie record books. She broke the WNBA single-season assist record in her debut year. Let that sink in. While adjusting to the speed, strength, and physicality of the pros, she was also creating more scoring opportunities for her teammates than any rookie before her. The game that showed her evolution, a 20-point, 19-assist performance. Most stars need to score to dominate. Caitlin showed she could control a game without forcing shots, dictating the flow like a veteran point guard. Her court vision became a nightmare for defenders. She could pull up from 30 feet in transition, or she could fake the shot and drop a no-look pass right under the rim. That unpredictability made her one of the most dangerous players in the league, even before she hit her prime. And while other rookies were still adjusting to the pace, Caitlin was already manipulating it. While Caitlin was making headlines, the league was shifting under her feet. The Minnesota Lynx made a power move, bringing in DJ Carrington to add both youth and experience. Seattle traded for Brittany Sykes, adding defensive grit and playoff experience. The Mystics brought back Alicia Clark, a veteran with championship pedigree. None of these moves involved Caitlin directly, but they could shape her road to the playoffs. The Fever's young roster already faced an uphill climb, and now the competition was stacking talent at every position. These trades weren't just about the regular season, they were chess moves for the postseason. For Caitlin, that meant preparing for deeper, more experienced teams that wouldn't give her the same looks twice. In other words, her rookie trial by fire wasn't ending anytime soon. It was only getting hotter. If you want to understand why Caitlin Clark keeps rising, you have to look beyond the court. She works with sports psychologists to build a mental toughness that's rare even among pros. Her routine focuses on internal validation, trusting her own preparation instead of living or dying by outside opinions. Social media can be a double-edged sword, and she knows it. The praise can be overwhelming, the criticism brutal. Caitlin's approach, take the good, leave the bad, and never let either change the work. She talks about flow state, those games where everything feels effortless, where she's so locked in that the noise fades away. That level of focus isn't an accident. It's something she trains for, just like she trains her shooting mechanics. Injuries have tested her patience too. Instead of rushing back, she's used recovery time to study, analyze, and return with new tools in her game. That's why her growth curve is so steep. Every setback becomes part of the plan. For all the records, awards, and headlines, Caitlin Clark sees herself as far from finished. She's working on extending her shooting range even further, as if defenders didn't have enough to worry about. She's stepping into leadership roles on a young Fever team, guiding rookies and holding veterans accountable in equal measure. But maybe her biggest mission is off the court, growing women's basketball for the next generation. She's unapologetically herself, refusing to soften her personality or her game to make others comfortable. That combination, authenticity and excellence, is rare, and it's why she's not just building a career, she's building a legacy. Caitlin Clark is still in the opening chapters of her professional story, but she's already left an impact most players can only dream of. She's proven she can adapt, thrive, and lead, all while carrying the weight of expectations that would crush most athletes. The WNBA is evolving, and Caitlin Clark is at the center of that evolution. The next few seasons will decide if she becomes one of the greatest to ever play, or the player who redefines what greatness even means. One thing's certain, history isn't just watching her, it's waiting for her next move.